5.4.31. Once the Exalted One was dwelling near Savatthi at Jeta Grove in Anathapindika's park, and there Sumana, the Raja's daughter, with a following of 500 royal maidens in 500 chariots, came and visited him, and after saluting him sat down at one side. So seated she spoke thus to the Exalted One: Lord, suppose two of the Blessed One's disciples were similar in faith, similar in virtue, and similar in wisdom, but one was an alms-giver and the other was not. Both on the breaking up of the body after death would be reborn in the happy heaven world. But among the Devas, Lord, would there be a distinction, a difference between them? And the Buddha said, there would be, Sumana. The alms-giver, when come to Deva state, surpasses the non-giver in 5 ways, in divine lifespan, beauty, happiness, honor, and power. In these 5 ways, Sumana, the alms-giver, when reborn to a Deva state, surpasses the non-giver. And Sumana asked, but if, Lord, faring on thence, they should return to this state here, that means when become human, Lord, would there be a distinction, a difference between them? There would be, Sumana, said the Exalted One. The alms-giver as man surpasses the non-giver in 5 ways, in human lifespan, beauty, happiness, honor, and power. In these 5 ways, Sumana, the alms-giver as man surpasses the non-giver. But if both, Lord, were to go forth from the home into the homeless life, when gone forth, Lord, would there be a distinction, a difference between them? There would be, Sumana. And the Exalted One said, the alms-giver, when gone forth, surpasses the non-giver in 5 ways. He is often asked to accept a robe. He is not rarely asked. Often to accept alms, not rarely. Often to accept a lodging, not rarely. Often to accept medicines for sickness, not rarely. And with whomsoever he dwells in leading the holy life, such folk mostly act towards him with cordiality in their ways of living, talking and thinking. It is rare for them not to act cordially to offer service, seldom without cordiality. In these 5 ways, Sumana, an alms-giver, when gone forth, surpasses the non-giver. But Lord, if both win arhatship, in that state would there be a distinction, a difference between them? In that case, Sumana, I verily declare that there is no difference whatsoever. That is to say, comparing liberation with liberation. And Sumana said, it is amazing, Lord, it is wonderful, Lord, how far-reaching is the effect of giving alms and doing good deeds, since they are a help and a boon to one as a deva, a help and a boon to one as a man, yea, a help and a boon when one has gone forth. It is even so, Sumana, it is even as you have just said. That's the end of the sutta. Here in this sutta, you find the Buddha is saying, when we give alms, when we do charity, this merit follows us not only to the next lifetime, it follows us for a few lifetimes. And because of giving alms, giving food to monks, you attain 5 things. You get a long life, you get beauty, you get happiness, you get honor. That means you are well known, and the last one, you have power. These are the 5 things. And so you find the Buddha said, after you go to heaven, you have these 5 things more than the person who is not an alms giver. And after that, you come back to the human realm as a human being. You still have these 5 things, surpassing a person who does not do so much charity. And when you go off you go forth as a monk later on in a future lifetime, then you get a lot of offerings made to you. Whereas another person who seldom does charity, when in the future lifetime he becomes a monk, few people want to offer him things. His blessings is not so much. But however, when he becomes an arahant, the state of one arahant with another is the same. The state of arahantship. So there's no difference. That is why the state of an arahant, whether he's a Pacheka Buddha or a Sammasambuddha, the liberation is the same. That is mentioned in one sutta, where the Buddha was asked, what is the difference between a Sammasambuddha and his Arahant disciple? And the Buddha said, the Arahant Sammasambuddha is one who discovers again the Aryan Eightfold Path, And he walks the path, he's very familiar with the path, and he expounds the path, he teaches the path to many. And his Arahant disciples follow the same path after him. If they follow the same path after him, they will definitely reach the same place. That's why basically there's no difference between an Arahant and a Sammasambuddha and a Pacheka Buddha.